And with that out of the way, we can go right ahead and talk about the Mavericks and how they were able to win Game 4 in a very surprising fashion. Now, a lot of everyone thought this was going to be a sweep. I know I thought this was going to be a sweep, and I definitely didn't expect the Dallas Mavericks to put up this kind of performance under so much pressure. Granted, I guess it wasn't really that much pressure because it's not like they really had anything to lose. They were just fighting to not get swept. So there was a lot that happened in this game that has never happened in the history of basketball. So excuse me. But essentially, the Dallas Mavericks and they ended up winning 122 to 84. This was a blowout. The minute the game started, it's unbelievable just like how quickly the matchups like unfolded. Luka Doncic ended the game with 29 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Kyrie ended the game with 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. And honestly, it wasn't a juggernaut scoring performance from these two star players, but it was a very good and a much better defensive performance coming in from these players, especially Luka. Ever since there was a whole stipulation on Luka being an incompetent defender and the rest of the team not stepping up, that also didn't happen in this game. There were a lot of players that ended up stepping up in this game, and it was just a completely different story from what we've seen from Dallas in the entirety of this series. This singular game alone propelled them to end up having more points in total of the series than the Boston Celtics. So what I mean by that is that, in the 4 games played, the Dallas Mavericks, they in total ended up scoring more points, in total, when you take all of the totals from all their games, than the Celtics. Despite the fact that they're down 3-1 right now, they scored more points. So that's what this singular performance, this singular blowout has done. Now, for some positives, a couple positive stats, Derek Lively, I didn't put him up on the graphic, but he became the second rookie since Magic Johnson to record consecutive double-doubles in the NBA Finals, which is nothing short of impressive. And obviously, it's all of this is incredible coming in from Dallas. Now, let's talk about some of the negatives coming in from this game. So basically everything wrong with the Celtics. Now, Drew Holiday ended with a box plus minus of minus 38. This is the worst plus minus ever recorded in a finals game since the stat was first tracked all the way back in 1997. And we were just talking about, and we were all just thinking, okay, Drew Holiday is making a case to be the finals MVP, and this one bad performance just completely botched it. And now there's absolutely zero argument for Drew Holiday being a finals MVP candidate. None whatsoever. And the entire Celtics team played bad. Jason Tatum was 4 for 10 with 15 points, and Peyton Picard was 5 for 14. Jaylen Brown had his first bad game in the postseason in a while. 3 for 12 with 10 points, 1 of 5 from 3. Drew Holiday ended the game 4 of 10. And, again, with the worst box plus minus ever recorded. I can never pronounce this guy's last name. Mikhailiuk, I can't pronounce his last name. I genuinely can't. And I just call him Svi, so, because it is just easier, or, really, it's, it might be Svi, it might be Svi, I have no idea how you pronounce these people's names sometimes, but I call him Svi. So, it's, he shot 1 of 7 from the field as well, and, I mean, again, the whole team, horrible. They shot pretty good from 3, but pretty good isn't going to win you a game in the NBA Finals. It's not like, Luka and Kyrie, played phenomenally either. I mean, Luka missed every single three-pointer he took, and Kyrie made just 1 three-pointer that he took. Now, it was really the rest of the role players stepping up for them. Now, and the defense being a lot better than what it usually was. Tim Hardaway ended the game 5 for 7 from the field with 15 points. And let's see. Dante Exum, he ended the game with 10 points. Gafford ended the game with 7. And again, it's just like, the rest of the role players, they all shot really efficiently from the field. And their defense as a whole as well was just much better, on top of the fact that the Celtics just played really, really bad in this game. So everything lined up for Dallas in this one. Another crazy stat that has about towards this game is that this is the third largest margin of victory in NBA Finals history. So 38 points. That's the margin of victory. Now the one above that is ironically the 2008 Celtics against the Lakers all the way in 2008, and several years ago, on this specific day, honestly, like coincidentally, on this specific day, several years ago, they ended up winning the finals. 16 years ago on this day. And so now we have sort of like, a chance for history to somewhat repeat itself, because that championship that they won in Boston is the one thing that was, separating the Lakers and the Celtics from championships for the longest time, up until LeBron ended up winning it in the bubble. And the one above that is the Bulls against Utah in 1998, when they ended up winning by 42 points. So this is a historic game. And on top of that, you know how I mentioned how not a single team being down 0-3 in finals history or in NBA history has won the series? Well, no team has ever won a series in the finals after losing by 38 points. That's never happened before. So it's like it's like when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object kind of thing, where it's like we have no idea which of these is going to be affected and which of these is going to override the other. Now, another really crazy stat that I pulled from the game is Jason Tatum ended with the third lowest box plus minus by an All-NBA first team player since 2000. So this is he's the only player in NBA history with multiple games of having a plus minus of minus 30 in the finals. The only player in the history of basketball to record a plus minus of negative 30 or worse more than once. That is a horrible stat to have. And on top of that, the stat that I mentioned before, where he owns two of the worst box plus minus performances by an All-NBA first team player since 2000. That is also really, really bad. And one of the things that sort of I'll bring up again in the fifth segment is how the Celtics, they seem really like meh, if that makes sense, about this entire series. Like, genuinely, they seem meh. The responses to the media are like whatever. The responses towards like who they think's gonna win is like meh, and they don't really seem motivated at all. And I'm going to bring this up again in the fifth segment because I think it's going to play into this game in the future. But it's like, that is like the mentality of just like, meh, like if we win, like we'll win, it's whatever. Like that's a terrible mentality, I think, that a good enough team like the Celtics can have, especially after this kind of performance. The fact that they like try to play it off and they're not really stressing about it, I guess you could say, it doesn't make any sense to me, because after all of these historical after this historical margin of victory, after all of this, you aren't even the slightest bit worried. But that's all I really had to say about that sort of thing. Now, is this a bump in the road for the Celtics, or is this or should this be taken a little bit more seriously? Well, we'll find out in the future, but I will say that in 2017, the Cavs ended up scoring the most points in a single first half in finals history on the Warriors, and that didn't faze them in the slightest when they went home. So I'm just going to, leave that there because we never know what could happen. But yeah, that's basically all I have for this segment. So now we will go ahead and go into the second segment where I talk about Klay Thompson and how he unfollowed his Golden State Warriors teammates. So I'll be right back after the short break. Be sure to stay tuned.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the